Hey everyone, this is Matt with Learn Everything About Design, and in this video we're going to talk more about 3D printed gears, and there was a request for doing a bevel pair of gears. This is a bit trickier to model because we don't really have a script that's built into Fusion that we can kind of cheat and use for what we did in the previous video, which was the straight cut, spur gear, the helical gear, and the herringbone. So in this video, I'm going to walk through modeling it and talk about a couple of things to consider. I won't be 3D printing the gears in this video because my printer right now is going crazy for like 24 hours to try to print the tail section for our GPZ series, and it's extremely loud, so hopefully you can't hear that. But and so in this video, we're just going to talk about the modeling process of this, and then in a future video, we'll probably incorporate these gears into something, taking a look at the spur gear and the bevel gear. But let's go ahead and sort of dive in. So the first thing that we need to talk about is when we're modeling a bevel gear, we are going to be creating essentially a wedge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a vertical line, and then I'm going to come down and to the right. We're going to revolve this. So I'm going to just work on the right-hand side here, and we're going to come back a little bit and then straight down to be horizontal with this. All right, so a couple things that we need to consider. One, what is this angle? And why do we have this point up here? What's going on with that? So the angle itself, this is essentially what we're going to be lofting to a point. So this is going to be the root of our bevel gear. And we're going to create the tooth of the gear over here on the right-hand side, and we're going to loft it to this point. So what this means is that the angle of the root of the gear is going to be different than the angle of the outside of the tooth of the gear. And this is kind of how they work. The angles can change a little bit, and some of these parameters can change. Since we're talking about 3D printing, I'm not worried about designing a true bevel gear, something that is using a specific formula to define the teeth. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can design these, and then we can play around with the numbers and the sketches to make sure that everything fits properly. So we need to define a couple of things. First, I'm going to convert this line to be a midline, a center line, and then I'm going to add a dimension. So going from that midline to here, that's pretty huge. I'm going to make this 16 millimeters, and then you can see everything else went crazy. You might be wondering why it didn't auto scale. I turned that option off because it was driving me absolutely crazy. So it's just going to go ahead and bring this kind of stuff down, and I'm going to define, let's see, maybe let's make this overall height 6 millimeters. And I'm going to make the height of this section, right click and make it aligned. I'm going to make that 4 millimeters. And then this angle, this is sort of the whole key to this thing. This angle here and then this angle here. So this first angle is going to be 135 degrees. And you can see how that kind of defines everything else. So I'm going to use D on the keyboard, and I'm going to take a look at this. And you can see this gives us 45 degrees because this automatically has a perpendicular constraint. Now, I will tell you that 45 degrees is not really going to work. This needs to be lower than 45 degrees. And the reason for this is because when we create the paired gear for this, and I'm just going to do this to show you, you don't need to follow along. But when we create the paired gear for this, it's going to be at a 90-degree orientation, which means if we create that edge or that line exactly at 45, what's going to end up happening is those two gears are going to be binding up. We need a little bit of gap because remember, this is the root or the base of the gear. So we don't want it to be exactly 45 degrees. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to use D on the keyboard, and I'm going to set this at, let's just use 40 degrees. So 40 degrees. So now if we create the 90-degree version of this pair, we're going to have a little bit of a gap there. The next thing that we need to do is figure out how wide we want that tooth. So it's going to be something like this, and then we'll just come over to the center. So D on the keyboard, we'll say, let's make it 4 millimeters wide. I don't really have a good reason for that, just seems like a good number. We're going to make that a bit deeper too, and then I'll hit escape on the keyboard. So basically this is going to be the root of our gear. Again, we can play around with these numbers. We can come back and tweak it all we want. We can change this angle, see how it works. So just go ahead and make sure all these dimensions are in a place that they're easy to get to. because we're going to show the dimensions in the sketch and make them easy for us to create. So now double click the mouse wheel to zoom in. We're going to revolve this profile here. And then I want to bring that sketch back. So the next thing that we want to do is create a plane along a path. Because we're dealing with stuff at an angle, we need to create a plane so we can actually model the tooth. I'm going to turn off tangent chain because I only want to look at this edge here, bring it all the way down. And then I'm going to start a sketch on that new plane. We're going to use project include, which is going to just bring in this edge for us. And then we are going to model the tooth. All right, so I'm using straight lines for right now. I'm going to come back and add some arcs later. I'm going to find the midpoint, come down to here, hit escape. Another kind of weird tip, when we're adding constraints to lines and we want to convert them to construction, if we say select that line, make it vertical, for whatever reason, it automatically deselects the line. If instead we turn it into construction first, it keeps it selected and then we can make it vertical. So again, just kind of a silly tip, but that is helpful a lot of the times when we have to convert to construction and apply a constraint. I'm going to make these two construction lines. I'm also going to make them mirrored. So select each line, then the mirror line, and add symmetry, and then start to add some dimensions here. So overall height of the tooth, I'm going to say is 2 millimeters. Width at the top, I'm going to say 0.7, and width at the bottom, I'm going to say maybe 1.75. Again, we're going to come back and tweak these numbers. So really all that matters is that we have a sort of a baseline here. Then I'm going to add some arcs because we want to have an arc here because when the teeth start to contact each other, we want that to be a point contact and not a line contact. I'm going to add a dimension to one of these. Let's make it pretty big, 10 millimeters. So it doesn't have to be a straight line, but we also don't want it to be just a huge rounded section. And then we'll finish the sketch. So now what we're going to do is select loft. We're going to loft that up to this point. This is going to be a new body because we're going to do a little bit of work on it. And we can hide that first sketch. So this is going to be essentially our tooth. We're going to split that body with this section here. And we're going to repeat it on the bottom because this isn't really planar. So what we want to do is we want to split the tooth with this as well. So it's going to leave us with these little extra segments. So that segment there and that segment there, we can right click and remove. Now I'm going to combine these two together. I'm going to add a fillet at the root, so F on the keyboard. Millimeters probably too big. And then we can do a circular pattern of faces. Now the reason I'm doing it this way is because if I pattern the body, then I'd have to add fillets to all the edges. This way I can just pattern that face. I'm gonna go around here. And just based on the diameter, I'm gonna use 20. Now remember with something like this, when we did the spur gear, we had values like the module, which controlled the diameter based on the number of teeth that we had. When we're doing a paired like this, what we're really looking at is going to be the size of the teeth and the angle. And we're going to play around with this in just a second, and I'll show you. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take this body, we're going to copy it. You can use move copy if you want, and create a copy. And then what we want to do is reset the pivot point to this upper position here. And then we're going to rotate this 90 degrees. And we'll say OK. And then hide our sketch. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to take that body. We could apply components and we could do joints, but for right now, I don't really care about that. But what I want to do is I want to rotate it so that the teeth are basically shown like that. All right, so now here's where the dimensions come in. So right now, that's a pretty big gap. And that's a problem because we're going to have a lot of backlash between the gears. The fact that we're hitting so high up means that we're not getting the strength of that root fillet. So what we want to do is we want to play around with the dimensions of the tooth. So we'll show the sketch, right click and show the dimensions. And for example, let's say that the overall height, we want to make it 2.25. It's going to raise up the height on both of those. And then we can play around, let's say 2.5. So that looks pretty good. And then we can start to play around with the other dimensions. So let's say that the base maybe 2 millimeters instead of 1.75. Actually make it, let's say 2.5. At some point it's going to fail because things like the fillets are going to get too large, but we can kind of see what's going on there. I think that 2.25 is probably as big as I want to go. So if you don't have an actual, a book or an equation or specific values that you need to create these gears, especially since you're creating a gear pair, what you can do is you can build them out like this, and then you can tweak the numbers until the gap and the backlash and everything look okay. Keeping in mind that once again we lofted to a point, and that is going to be the center location where both gear pairs intersect. So if you're building this out and you need it to be exactly, let's go ahead and measure this. If you need it to be exactly, let's grab the face. So that's 21.733 millimeters away. That's a weird number, but you can play around with these values and the overall height of this, which is going to affect the angles and so on. And that way you can kind of play around with how this works. I'm going to go ahead and show the dimensions for this one. Might be a little bit hard to see, but let's take this up to 41 degrees. And you can see that it's starting to spread the gears apart a bit more. If we take it to 45 degrees, you can kind of see now what we're getting is we're getting this contact way down here on the corner rather than getting more of a contact between these two faces. And that problem is just going to get worse and worse the higher that angle goes. So you can see at 50, we're getting really bad contact. So about 40 degrees is a good number for these gear pairs. We could go smaller, let's say 38 degrees. But then you're going to start to run into issues with the size of the teeth. You're going to have to play around with the overall height of them and kind of figure out what works best. I don't generally print gears like this, so the only reason I'm showing how to model it is just essentially based on that comment. I thought it was a good follow-up to what we've already done. But hopefully with everything that you've seen here, that starts to give you a little bit of an idea as to how you can build these. When we did our video on the spur gear, the helical gear, and the herringbone, we had the spur gear creator or the generator in the API scripts, and we had some numbers that we could go by, right? We could use the module of 1, we could change the pressure angle and work with that. You could certainly do exactly the same thing here if you've got the specifics on the teeth and the inner and the action and so on. If you need to make one of these larger, let's say you need a 2-to-1 ratio, then essentially what needs to happen is you are going to have to create a pair of, basically if you double the diameter of this, you're going to double the number of teeth, and you're going to have to figure out where that point is going to be in space in order for them to intersect. Because the angles are going to be a little bit different to make that work, but you can use the same sort of structure and formula to work it out. My suggestion is to note that the angle on the smaller gear is going to get steeper, and then that is going to in turn determine where the center line axis of the larger gear is. If you're going to play around with these, go ahead and make a couple tests, print them out, see how they work for yourself. As I mentioned, I will be doing a follow-up video. I'm going to be traveling for a bit, so I'm just trying to get as much of this stuff sort of pre-recorded as possible. So when I'm back, I will do a follow-up on the gears and probably try to make something. So we will drive one gear with another and maybe add the spur gears and the bevel gears together. But I'll include the link to this file, the end of this file, in the description of the video if you want to play around with it. If you have any questions, please leave comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.